G'day guys, welcome back to another Bitcoin video. It's a very important video today because today there is $5 billion of open interest expiring on Bitcoin, and we're also seeing the largest options expiry Ethereum has ever seen. This is all happening for the next 24 hours. And so I would expect at this point the volatility to start ramping up within the next 24 hours. And so yeah, this time of boring market sideways price action is most likely going to be coming to an end now, and that lines up perfectly with what we've been saying for a long period of time. And that long period of time we've basically been saying we're going to move before January 9th based on multiple factors that I'll briefly cover in this video. But yeah, we're interested in that. We'll get into that now. Before we do that, check out the pinned comment, check out the description, the VIP sale until the 14th. We've got Crypto Academy courses, which you can learn how to trade in. We've got the Telegram group, which you can join and discuss the markets with people in there. We've also got the Bitget Exchange, which you can sign up to using my referral link. Let's get into the video, guys. So as volatility in the cryptocurrency market has died down so significantly in the past few months specifically, we've seen daily exchange volume on Bitcoin reach levels we haven't seen since 2020. And during the FTX crash, we kind of saw the catalyst for that, right? We were slowly downtrending in daily exchange volume, obviously, as the price declined. And that's been happening ever since the top in November. In fact, it's been happening since the first top we saw in March last year, or May last year, I should say. But ultimately, the FTX crash was the final kind of bubble here. And we see just in the last recent month, we've seen massive declines in volatility. And with that, there's been a massive amount of less engagement in the cryptocurrency space. I've witnessed that firsthand as a YouTuber. Engagement on videos is at all-time lows. I spoke to my friend Megawell Crypto. Same thing with him. Same thing with all cryptocurrency channels. If you look at the social metrics of crypto, no one's really interested right now. Go to the Google search results of Bitcoin. It's all dying down. And this is really typical of what happens when you see a long extended bear market as per the 4-year cycle theory. It's kind of expected, it's nothing out of the ordinary, and it's nothing to be overly concerned about provided we do recover eventually, which I think we will. But the main points I've been making over the last few days is this, right? Bitcoin on the weekly chart specifically, let me bring this up right here, has this triangular formation on the weekly chart and on the RSI, and lining up with that, it's got an 8-year support line and the bull market support band. The 8-year support line and bull market support band form a compression. Eventually, Bitcoin's going to have to break upwards, in which case it would reverse the downwards trend, or it's going to have to break downwards, in which case it's going to go down to lower levels at 13.8K to 11.5K. When will that happen by? Well, we've been talking about this the last few days. It will happen most likely when we see a break of this weekly candle RSI, weekly chart RSI, triangle formation, and that will be happening before January the 9th, okay? So that's kind of the apex for that. So the whole kind of overall thing we've been saying, and we've got so much more data to support this, and I'm not going to get into this video because it's going to take too long. You can watch my previous video if you want to look at that. The whole point we've been making over the last few days is Bitcoin will be moving, making a directional decision before the 9th of January. It's going to happen. When will it happen? Can we narrow it down further? I think we can. And the reason I think we can do that is because of this, right? Options expiry on Bitcoin, okay? I'm not going to go too much into the nitty-gritty of it because it's not really necessary to explain. All you need to understand is this, okay? People have been making bets on Bitcoin. People have been making bets on Ethereum as per a call or as per a put, right? Essentially what it means is that they've been making bets on whether by a certain date and time, which is tomorrow, Bitcoin will be above a certain price or below a certain price. The more volume you see, the more interest, the more calls, the more puts you see, the more volume occurs when they expire, okay? Because people are making a bunch of money and losing a bunch of money when that happens. We're seeing $5 billion in expiry of open interest, right? $5 billion of options expiry tomorrow, right? Today, actually. It should be today. Sorry, it's hard to work out the dates between Australia and the US. I think it's actually today we should be seeing that. So I'm going to go ahead and say that within the next 24 hours, Bitcoin will be seeing a vast amount of volume. Same thing with Ethereum as well. And so the entire cryptocurrency market should be seeing a vast amount of volume within the next 24 hours based on these expiries. You can see we've got a massive expiry there on Bitcoin, and we've got the largest expiry Ethereum has ever seen ever at any point of its entire price history there. So that's massive as well, because obviously, volume is so low, so you probably wouldn't expect Ethereum to be seeing the largest one ever. But the point is, these are calls and puts that have been made for months and months and months. They're not brand new, right? People have been making them for many, many months, and so they're built up over time. The overall point I'm trying to get across here is this. Bitcoin and Ethereum. As you can see, Ethereum's in a triangle formation. It's seen the same similar kind of RSI triangle there. Bitcoin and Ethereum and the total cryptocurrency market, which is on support stemming from 2018, right? This pink line here, it's on major support. It's at a critical spot, and it's got an RSI triangle on the daily chart. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the total cryptocurrency market cap will be seeing a surge of volume in the next 24 hours. It's not guaranteed that that will lead to a move on the RSI and the weekly chart, which is what we're mainly looking at, but it is relatively likely. So that January 9th deadline still remains, right? Because that's what the charts say is the absolute deadline, but it's relatively likely at this point, and it's definitely something we need to be watching at the very least, that we could be seeing that deadline occur within the next 24 to 48 hours as massive amount of volume comes into the market as those options expire. Okay, so that's pretty interesting as well, right? So keep an eye on that. I want to briefly interrupt this video to talk about the Bitget Exchange. The Bitget Exchange has 5 times lower fees than Binance, which is the biggest major exchange in the cryptocurrency market on futures. It also has 0 fees on every single spot pair, so you can trade spot for entirely free, no fees included. It runs events. Right now it's got a FIFA World Cup event sponsored by Messi, the football player. It's got copy trading, strategy trading. It's got exclusive rewards and discounts in the reward center. It's got everything you need for a trader using exchange. This is the exchange I personally use as a trader for my everyday trading, and I highly recommend everyone does so at the Wolves of Crypto YouTube channel. Sign up using my referral link for exclusive rewards and discounts. That really helps out the channel, and I appreciate it. For my fans from the United States of America, you can sign up using this exchange with a VPN and use the exchange with a VPN and just sign up using my referral link like normal, and you'll be treated like a normal customer because this is also a non-KYC exchange. So make sure to sign up using my referral link in the pinned comment or the description below, and without further ado, let's get back into the video. Now, one more thing I wanted to talk about in this video, I'm keeping it nice and short. One more thing I wanted to talk about in this video, in fact, 2 more things. One of them is MicroStrategy has stacked some more Bitcoin. They're buying Bitcoin in this price region, which is interesting to see because they're a major player. They're a whale. And when you see whales buying, it generally is indicative of a bottom. Now, with that said, MicroStrategy is kind of alone in doing this. Most whales have actually just sold off and they're not buying back yet. So that's just worth noting there. It's a little bit of an indication. Maybe, who knows, right? Someone might be able to find that information useful. I personally don't think this information is particularly useful. I just thought I'd bring it up because it's quite interesting that they're buying in this region after selling off a bit of Bitcoin towards September, right? They're buying back a little bit. Not really major buys, only a couple thousand Bitcoin, if that, actually just under 1,000 Bitcoin. So not anything major, but it is interesting to see that they're buying a little bit more. I don't think this chart is actually fully updated. I think they have bought another 2,500 since December 24th. But yeah, you guys can find that out for yourself. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. So they are stacking a little bit of Bitcoin here, which is interesting, but mainly that's kind of irrelevant at this point. But mainly, and the reason it's irrelevant is because MicroStrategy is not the only whale in the market, right? We can't use MicroStrategy alone as an indicator, but it is interesting nevertheless. The main thing I want to talk about is this. We've talked about this before. This is the yearly chart for Bitcoin. We talked about the fact that we're seeing the first bearish engulfing candle on the yearly chart ever in Bitcoin's price history. We debunked the fact that that was super bearish. I don't think it's super bearish because we've seen bearish stuff on the yearly chart before and it never led to anything, right? We saw resistance formed, we rejected off resistance, we rejected off resistance again, and then we acted like nothing ever happened and went above, right? The point is, the yearly chart is such a diluted sample of what Bitcoin really does. With one candle representing 1 year, you're missing out on so much data. It's extremely diluted, right? It's not worth taking things too seriously from a yearly perspective, and that's why I'm not very interested in, taking the yearly chart too seriously. I don't think that a bearish engulfing candle on the yearly chart is the end of the world at all by any means, because I don't think people actually make decisions based on the yearly chart. I think it's just kind of FUD. But what I can look at on the yearly chart is this, okay? And this is a trend, right? The trend is essentially this. We have a 4-year cycle theory. 4-year cycle theory on the yearly chart is quite clear. Okay? 1, 2, I can't actually draw. Let me get the pen up real quick. Cycle 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Cycle 2, year 1, 2, 3, 4. And the third cycle, year 1 and 2. What you'll notice is that year 1, 3, and 4 of every cycle are always green, and year 2 of every cycle are always red. This is because year 2 of each cycle is the year of the bear market. With this information, we can assume that this candle we're currently on that expires in 2 days obviously is going to end red. There's no chance it's going to be green. Otherwise, we need to get back above 45,000 USD in the next 24 hours, 48 hours, not going to happen. The point is, the next year, right, so 2023, should be closing green according to this trend. That's interesting to watch out for, and I think that's a much more interesting and much more compelling trend than the engulfing bearish candle on the yearly chart, which means nothing because it's entirely diluted. If you want to look at the yearly chart, that's what you should be looking at. The 4-year cycle directly links to the yearly chart quite well. As you can see, year 2 of every single cycle at this point in time has been red. We've had 3 data points for that, making it a trend. And if we get the next data point of a green 3rd year, that would make a trend for the 3rd year being the year of recovery and bottoming out, right? I'm expecting that to happen. I'm still a believer in the 4-year cycle theory. I still think it will play out. My overall predictions on Bitcoin still remain. I still think Bitcoin will bottom out in Q4 or potentially January. And yeah, nothing's really changed for me. If we go into February, we haven't bottomed out yet, that's when I'll start to change my prediction. But at this point, that prediction is entirely valid. And I don't see any reason in the charts not to believe in that. I do see other arguments, of course, but they're not valid at this point. What's valid is the 4-year cycle. It's still playing out, and I'm going to believe in it until it stops playing out. So ultimately, the point of this video is this, guys. Options expiry, huge stuff going on in the next 24 hours. There should be a massive amount of volume come in. It would be weird if there wasn't. I suppose there's a chance there could not be, but it would be weird if there wasn't for sure, because generally speaking, you generally see large amounts of volatility come in and large amounts of volume come in when you see those expiries. But ultimately, the main points still stand. Regardless of our speculations on the options expiry, the point is this: we'll still be moving by January 9th, and that's still the main point you need to be watching out for on Bitcoin. The key levels for the short term are essentially this. Key levels for the upside is a break above 18.2k. Key level to the downside is a break below 15.4k. Until either of those things happen, nothing really major has happened on the medium to long term charts. We've seen a preliminary breakout of this bear flag formation, but in my opinion, it's nothing really too massively concerning, because we've got a bullish structure forming right at the bottom of it, and we could very well just be labeling this thing a fake out if we break to the upside of this bullish structure. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.